was over in Italy vacationing with my brother-in-law, Billy Minotti, and his wife, Stephanie, and Joanna and me. We did all our workouts, and we took off for Rome, and we were on an Italian tour. And I got a call from the general manager, Chris Wallace, and said, look, could you work this German kid out? I said, Chris, we already finished all our workouts. He said, no, I think this kid may be special. I'd like you to work him out. And I said, okay. And I said, where am I going to work him out? He said, well, we can't let anybody know you're working him out. It was legal, it was fine. He's coming in with his coach, his trainer, shooting coach, that guy you see on TV. So we find this tennis bubble. We have security outside. We go in, and Billy, my brother-in-law, is Wall Street broker. He's getting his gym shorts. I had to buy him shorts and sneakers and everything, and he's going to be the guy. I told him how to pass while I worked him out. And I worked him out for a good hard hour. And then I was shaking after the workout, and I met with both of them at lunch, and that's the part I can't tell you about at lunch. But he was supposed to stay in the military another year publicly. And we were going to draft him with the Boston Celtics at number 10. And nobody knew about this young man. I called Red Auerbach, and I said, Coach, we got to keep this just you, me, and Chris. And I'm going to tell Jim O'Brien outside of that, I want nobody to know about this kid. And I said, I found the next Larry Bird. I said, and Red was laughing. He said, you kidding me? I said, no, he's different in a lot of ways because he's taller, but he jumps higher. I don't know about his passing skills or any of that. I just worked him out, but this kid's going to set Boston on fire. And so I had lunch with him. It was all agreed upon. I was going to take him at number 10, and I went back home. I kept very quiet, and my brother-in-law Billy could not believe how. I mean, you don't see it now. How high he could jump and run. I put him through these running, jumping drills that were amazing back then, and our mouths were open, and I'm running my brother-in-law ragged up and down, and he's putting on this shooting show that, like the likes I haven't seen. So I was so pumped up, so I went back, I told Obi, and it was draft night, and right before the draft got started, before we were in a war room like this room here with telephones and everything, and Dallas called us and said, we'd like to flip. We were 10, they were 11. We'd like to flip, and we'll give you $3 million if you'll flip. So I hung up the phone. I said, they know about Nowitzki. They know about it. And prior to this, it wasn't even mentioned. We kept it. And now I said, well, they can't do anything about it. And so Red said back, he said, yeah, they can. They could move up in the draft. I said, so we got to 7, and 7 was in Detroit, I believe it was, and they took tractor trailer. And I said, we're over it, because we knew Hughes was going to, but then all of a sudden the rumors started that Dallas pulled off this deal. And we were so blown away. I mean, we kept this under wraps. The workout was nobody ever knew. We had security outside the tennis bubble, and Chris arranged all of this. And it was so disappointing when all of a sudden that was pulled off, and we no longer had Dirk. We had he didn't go to Chicago. He said he was staying in the military. Everything was all set, and we were getting him. And now it was all blown away, and now we're stuck with nobody to draft. And all of a sudden we realized that Paul Pierce was there, and we knew that Philly was going to take, I forgot who 8 was, Hughes at number 9. We didn't know whether Paul would go to 8. Now we're scurrying. Something's wrong with Pierce. He was supposed to go 2 or 3 in the draft. Now everybody's wondering, now all these things come up of why he slipped. So we immediately got on the phone. I think somebody called Roy Williams right away. Is there any problems with Pierce? He had a clean bill of health. Everything was fine. We were very excited that Paul Pierce slipped to 10. Everybody always asks me the question now when I tell them that story. Who would you rather have had, Pierce or Nowitzki? And Pierce has won a championship, obviously, with Boston. And it's an interesting debate of who is the better basketball player, between the two of them. But it was an incredible, as I look back on that day, my brother-in-law running around for 1 hour, throwing this unbelievable basketball player. So that's my Dirk Nowitzki story.
Dallas is shooting 75%. Nowitzki, high under goes, and Dirk Nowitzki has just moved into 6th place on the all-time NBA scoring list, passing Shaquille O'Neal.
I've been around this for over 3 decades, and this is the most special individual I've ever come across in NBA basketball. And I've met some very special people. And so I'm honored, just to be able to come to work with them every day, and we want to make this last as long as possible.